Hey, Shalom. Hey, Shalom, Shalom. I want to start by saying, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahushai, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahushai, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahushai, Kahalam La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash, and also double honor to the apostles, the elder bishops, and the elders, grand ministers in the world. And also, Shalom to sincere Akim and pushing truth in the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash. And I'm back again with a quick lesson. And this lesson is going into this article you see here pulled up. It says a haunting prediction of where next pandemic will strike and how the big one will kill more than 7 million, like biological bomb. All right. And then, and this right here, man, is something that Esau, knows that it's gonna happen, because at the end of the day, you gotta understand this. This man wants a reset, okay, and this reset, before it comes, there's going to be some type of event that take place here on earth, man. To where these events are going to be terrible, okay, all right, just like how they got two people, all right, all messed up with that C-19 when it came out, right? When the C-19 came out, what happened? A lot of you, you thought that shit was legit, right? The Esau shut down the whole world, and what I'm saying? People were going fucking crazy, man. Okay, but during that period, we see now what happened. The whole world changed. Ever since then, the world has been shifting, man. All right. And that was the beginning of them, trying to bring this NWO. So now when the way you see how things are moving, Esau is ready to, get loose. Okay. Esau is about to get loose, man. And he got shit already set up in places. Okay. Believe it or not. Why do I say he got shit already set up in places? Well, a lot of you people, okay, or should I say the majority of you people, okay, took the jump shot. No one, no two, but three of them. And more than three, because some of you took the boosters and shit. To this day, some of you still taking them shit. And you don't know what's in it, And, you had doctors that came out and exposed what was in it. How, they can somehow control, whatever was in it to really affect you, man. Why do you think you hear people dropping dead? Okay, but anyway, don't want to get too conspiracy theory for you people. All right, but anyway, so let's get here. Let's check this out, right? It begins, so you see the images, those are right here. It begins, that's livestock, going to, that's livestock dying, or either causing diseases. The first infection, babies were in land of Africa. Unstoppable spread, that's how Esau comes, right here. This here is in Hong Kong. It says, Osterholm says we have to be consistently alert for new and lethal strands of disease making it lit for animal kingdom. This is in Hong Kong, right? Here, the most likely source of infection are not only bats, but pigs and poultry, says Osterholm. Right? And you remember, okay, how they're trying to take out the real meat that we eat, replace the real meat with what? Those fake meats. Okay? This is the best way to do it. Okay? You hear that whole chicken flu blame game that went on? Right? I'll come back there. Let's get this preacher right here, Slakia. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. It says this, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So right now, this is something that they're telling you that, that could happen, which I believe through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, something is going to happen worse than C-19 real soon. Okay? They just hit you with that peace and safety, right? Lord willing, I'll do that lesson next, right? Okay? But watch, man. Watch what happens. You people are going to be caught asleep, man. Let's go from the... It's like, so, going back to the priest just read, yeah, we can't be ignorant, of Esau's evil plans. He got plans laid down, man. But, hey, guess what? Is the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Hashem, controlling him to bring out all these plagues. Okay, all these diseases, or he's gonna bring in his last days. Let's go to the book of real quick. What is it? You brothers are already in the precepts, man. The book of Proverbs chapter 21 verse 1. All right, the book of Proverbs chapter 20 verse 24. Man's going off Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, then how can a man understand his own way? Showing you that Esau's gonna do some shit that he's not gonna be able to fucking stop because the Heavenly Father is in the midst of it. Like when those ICBM are being shot in America, they're gonna try to stop it, but guess what? You can't, right? Okay. So it's these plagues that these devils gonna cause. He's not gonna be able to stop them, man. Okay. And then you got Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 23. Those are the precepts that we always bring out. You brothers are familiar with those precepts, man. Also Daniel chapter 4 verse 17. That the Heavenly Father Yahweh Hashem shall rule in the kingdom of man. You see? So it's not what Esau is trying. It's like what Esau is about to do. It's not of him. It's of the Heavenly Father. All right, using him. Let's go to the book of Sirach chapter 39 real quick. Sirach chapter 39 and verse 28. There be spirits that there be spirits like that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on such strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their foes and appease the wrath of him that made him, which is the Heavenly Father Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And Esau is of that spirit that was created for vengeance, man. It says fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. And guess what? Esau can cause fire, hail, famine, and death. He can do that through his pseudoscience, or to that sword that was given unto him. Teeth of what? Beasts, scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. Also, Esau is a sword for the Heavenly Father Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. They shall rejoice in his commandment. Esau's going to rejoice he's going to rejoice when that time is ready for him to get loose. They shall be ready upon earth. Esau is going to be ready upon earth when the need is, meaning the time of fulfillment of him doing so. And when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. Basically, this devil is gonna do what he was created to do, man. The son of perdition. He's a destroyer, man. Okay. So and I'm gonna just keep it right there and come back here real quick. Let me get another one. Let's get this precept. 2 Timothy 3:1. It says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come." In the NLT, you should know this, Timothy, that in the last days there will be very difficult times. And we haven't seen difficult times. Remember, Jacob trouble has not happened yet. We are in the beginning stages of Jacob trouble. And Jacob trouble it's like it won't be just a civil war, race war, There's going to be plague after plague. So many plagues is going to be happening during Jacob trouble, man. It's not just going to be one or two plagues. It's going to be more than that, man. Okay? That's why people are going to be, they're going to be looking to give out ghosts, man. Because the plagues that the Heavenly Father is going to bring. And let's get this precept. Luke chapter 21 and verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves rolling. Men's heart is failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken, man. So people are going to be terrified. All right. Seeing the plagues being released upon the earth, man. Okay, and not knowing how the fuck they're gonna get out of it. The only ones who are gonna come out of this these plagues are the elect is going to be protected, man. Okay? So let's come back here, right? So this is another image. Here, it says disinfecting a wet market in Huzhou City, China, December 21. I don't want to read out because they got the C19 in there. It says begins his thought experimental with potential respiratory infection that is transmitted to human from camels. In his nightmare scenario, the children of poor farmers are first to be impacted by mysterious flu-like illness. Right here, showing you, kid over there in the land of him, land of Africa. So remember the C19? Remember all these, right? The big one. How we must prepare for the future and deadly pandemics, the big one, right? So here we are, right? It says the next pandemic will begin with the death of single baby in Africa and go on to kill more than 7 million in Americans. Damn, with 20 more fatalities worldwide. That's the chilling conclusion of a thought experiment carried out by the leading USA epidemiologist Michael T. Osterholm. I'm probably saying his name wrong. It says more horrific still, this catastrophe is currently unavoidable. The big one, he says, it is not optional. And I don't want to go through it because they're mentioning all these things, the C word, the CO, but you brothers, you get it, right? I'm not use as image for the video. So let's go from there, man. It's the book of Surah chapter 40 and verse I'm just get to point verse 8. Such things happen unto all flesh, both man and beast, that is sevenfold more upon sinners. Death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. So that was during the time of Noah, the flood, right? Well, these plagues that we see, we're reading about, Jesus is telling us about, these are going to fall up on the wicked. These were created for you, okay, to taste of them, okay? And those days are here, man. You watch, okay? Esau really got people deceived, with these whole wars over there in so-called Middle East. Now, that peace and safety just kicked in. Now, people going to be what? They're going to be rocked to sleep. NBA season starting next week, There's a lot going on, man. Okay? But, all we can do as men of Yahweh Hashem Shah is to watch. Watch. 2nd Ezra 15:1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. And it's what we're speaking unto you, man. Which I'll put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. These words are faithful and true. And you're about to see these words come to action. Okay? You're about to see these words really come to life, man. People dying left, right. Okay? You're about to see that, man. All right, so I'm going to go from there and jump to verse 5. But before I do, let me read this precept in the book of Revelation. This is the book of Revelation chapter 18 and verse... in verse 8. Therefore shall plagues come in one day. And you just, in that article, you seeing what's written there. The first one, of the baby's going to start in Africa. And then over there, let me read it one more time so you understand what I'm talking about. Right, he says, let me do this. It says the next pandemic will begin with death of single baby in Africa and go on to kill more than 7 million Americans with 20 times more fatalities worldwide. Ooh-wee. So, and that's a plague, man. Okay, it says Revelation 18:8. Therefore shall plagues come in one day. This is talking about America. Her is talking about America. When you read this chapter in our context, it's talking about America. That Babylon, that great hole. All right, that lady. Therefore shall plagues coming one day, death. You see, death and mourning and famine. And she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua who judges for man. You know, hey, we haven't seen plagues in America yet. You know, we haven't seen that, man. And we are waiting. Okay, we know for what the Heavenly Father Yahweh Shem Yahushua have said will happen. Okay, it will happen. All right, let's go from there. Is that Jeremiah chapter 28 and verse 8. It says the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. Man, you see that? Of disease. And those diseases are what? Coming up on America. You just read, you just, seen what's written in that article. Whoever, put that article together, you ain't lying. That's written in the Bible that America is going to be plagued, man. By all sort of, type of plagues, man. Okay? And anyone who don't believe that that's going to happen, good luck. Good luck to you, my friend. All right, let's go from there. Matthew 24. Matthew chapter 24. Let's see. I'll just read the King James version. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, lack of food, and pestilences, diseases, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows, man. The beginning of Jacob's trouble. You see? So let's come back here. 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 5. Behold, saith the Lord, I'll bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickednesses have extended through the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. You see? And this is what the Heavenly Father Yahweh Shem Shah is about to do, man. Okay? Bring nothing but destruction, plagues after plagues upon the world. Okay? America, here, Europe, Asia, the so-called, Middle East. You name it. The whole world is going to be plagued, man. Okay? Crazy weather disasters. All right, and I can feel, man. There's a crazy weather disaster that is about to hit Australia real soon, man. Okay, you can feel it because right now we're supposed to be in spring, but man, it don't feel like spring. Okay, and then you have what is it, man? Dabo 7, man. He did a video. I don't know if it was a video. He shares a post about what's going on over here in Australia right now to do with the weather, man. Like the Antarctica, something to do with Antarctica, whether moving to of Australia, something like that, man. So let's see, man, because hey, we about to see some shit go down real soon, man. Okay, so we're done, man. This was just a quick lesson reporting on the article I ran into. So we're done, man. Shalom to you, Akim out there. Yahweh Shem Shah,